Without further ado, let's get started here. So today I want to talk about how to deliver a great voiceover to VoiceBunny clients. We're really going to focus on getting into the head of VoiceBunny clients. This is a little bit more of an advanced webinar. I'm not going to cover much on how to actually use the VoiceBunny platform itself, but more about performance. I do have several webinars I've recorded and done in the past. They're available in our resource center regarding setting up a home studio and audio quality, and also how to use the VoiceBunny platform in general. So if you haven't checked out those webinars, I'm going to give you a link a little bit later on to where you can find those. So let's get started. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, and we'll get to them a little bit later on. Okay, here we go. So a little bit about me. My name is Tara Tyler. My title is Head of Quality and Sustainability. I've had lots of different jobs over the past 3 years working with Bunny Inc. I started with Voice123 originally as a voice actor. I was a freelance voice actor for over 8 years, and I spent 10 years in traditional radio. I was a DJ, I was a morning show co-host. Later on in my career, I became the production manager and creative services director for a cluster of both radio stations and television stations in Fort Myers, Florida. Now I am working for Bunny Inc. I don't have much time to do voiceover work myself. I spend most of my time helping other people get voiceover work. But we're located, we have offices around the globe, but we're located in San Francisco, California, and also Bogota, Colombia. We have people working from Argentina. We have people working from Uruguay, all over the globe. So that's my experience. I've worked both online and offline. I've worked with agencies. I've worked directly with clients that I found either through radio or my own personal marketing. But most of my experience is with online and online casting. So that's where my expertise lies. I wanted to show some other members of the VoiceBunny and the Bunny Inc. team. These are the people that make it happen. There in the middle, you see Alex Torrenegra and his wife and co-founder, Tanya Zapata. Tanya was a voice actress and was having trouble finding work. This was over 10 years ago now. And she had given several $1,000s to someone claiming to be an agent who was going to get her all this voiceover work, but ended up just taking her money and running off with it. Alex was working in tech at the time. He's a programmer, he's a developer, and he wanted to use the internet, which was still kind of a new concept back in the day, to help Tanya get voiceover work, and that's what started Voice123. And now we have VoiceBunny, which is taking online casting even further, and we'll get into that. So these are some of the friendly faces that you might see hanging around the Bunny Inc. offices. So VoiceBunny is unlike any other voiceover casting experience, online or off. You can't compare VoiceBunny to websites like Voice123 or any other casting sites that you may run into, even sites like Odesk and Elance and freelancer websites. VoiceBunny is completely different, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But to understand how to deliver a great read, you've really got to understand the expectations of the VoiceBunny client, because VoiceBunny clients are unlike other voiceover clients that you may have experienced in your career. So let's talk a little bit about how clients use VoiceBunny, okay? So when they come to our website, they've got a couple of different choices. This is an image that I pulled off of our homepage. They can search our voice pool, okay? So that means that they can listen to some samples and pick a voice and send them a script directly. They can get one speedy recording. This is where they say, look, I'm in a hurry. I don't have time to listen to a bunch of auditions or a bunch of samples. You guys just pick the best voice and send it back to me ready to use. That one's the trickiest one, as you can imagine. And then they also, let me go back. They also have the choice to run a casting call where they can get auditions and pick a winner. We do actually limit the amount of auditions that the client can get. Unlike some other voiceover casting websites, you never have to worry about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of auditions being submitted for each project. In fact, it gets more expensive the more auditions clients want. So that helps them, they usually we see castings of about five to 10 max. So that's how clients are going to be using VoiceBunny. So we have search and book, we have Speedy, and we have a casting call. The cool thing about casting calls with VoiceBunny is because we are so limited with the amount of auditions that we can send. For example, if a client only wants 3 auditions, we on our end have to make sure that those 3 auditions they get are absolutely stellar. Otherwise, they're not going to trust us to come back again. They're not going to keep posting projects with us if we don't deliver phenomenal results right up front. So we screen all of our auditions. We only send what we feel are the best auditions for that project. If your audition is accepted and sent to the client, you get paid a little bit, usually just a couple of bucks. But hey, you're getting paid to audition, which is pretty cool. And then the winner will get the full reward amount, and you're able to see all the pricing before you even submit your audition for the project. It'll tell you how much you'll get paid for the audition, and it will also tell you how much you'll be paid if you're selected as the winner of a casting call. So that's different from any other website out there. I don't know of any other websites that actually pay you to audition. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't come across any yet. So we think that that's kind of cool, especially being a voice actor myself. Okay, so let's talk about how you actually get invited to audition or submit a read. It's based on your stats, okay? And VoiceBunny's algorithm is very complex. It takes into account a lot of different factors. I can't even begin to wrap my mind around how this thing works, but it's very efficient. So the VoiceBunny algorithm first, the way it works is it first tries to identify, okay, who is the best possible person for this project based on the information I have. So based on the client's deadline, it's going to look at the response speed of the talents in question. Based on the demographic chosen, the language, the age, the gender chosen, those kinds of things, and the voice actor's history on the site. So it works systematically. It first invites who it thinks is going to be the best matches and invites them first, and then continues to invite lesser matching talents until the project is fulfilled. Very technical, but it relies heavily on your stats. So we're going to talk about stats here for a second. You're only compared to other voice talents in your demographic. So if you speak English with a North American accent and you're a middle-aged female, that's who you're being compared with whenever you see on your stats page your rank, where it says 21 out of 583. That means of other talents in your demographic, that's your rank. Everyone faces the same challenges. So, there's times when you may end up with a booking overnight, right? It's 2 a.m. and a client is up late and decides to book, or they're located on the other side of the world. We see that a lot too. We have a lot of companies out of India, out of China, that book, North American talents. And of course, it works the other way too. We have companies based in Canada that are booking talents based in Japan or Australia. So we understand projects can come in at weird times. So everyone is facing the same challenges. What's really going to hurt your stats are rejections. That's why I wanted to focus a lot on performance today and reducing the chances of a client rejecting your read, because getting rejected in the eyes of the VoiceBunny algorithm is very bad. It's going to hurt your stats, and it's going to hurt the amount of auditions that you're given. So let's take a look at rankings really quick and take a look at stats. This is the new stats page. It is still in progress. I'm still catching some bugs and working with the engineers on how these calculations are working. So be patient. There's also another part of the stats that's going to be released that will give you some more data as to why you did or did not match specific projects. So we are working on this. We want to give you guys as much information as possible as to how you can get more work with VoiceBunny. That's our goal. The more talents that we have that are awesome and amazing, the more choices we can offer our clients and keep them coming back. So these are not my stats, by the way. This is someone else. My stats are pretty bad because I don't have much time to do voiceover work. So this is a talent who has submitted 994 voiceovers to VoiceBunny. He's been with us on the platform for a very long time. So he's had 15 reads rejected by Mr. Bunny. These are internal rejections. I'll cover what that means in just a minute and what our quality control team is looking for whenever we're reviewing reads internally. And he's had 7 projects expire. So that means he accepted a project and he wasn't able to get it completed in time. You can see here how he ranks for bookings, contests, and speedies. So we're still, like I said, we're still working on some calculations, but he's had 99% of his bookings approved, but he's ranked 202 out of 323. I think there's something up with this calculation, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. I want to look at contests and speedies because these numbers look correct to me. He's won 103 contests. So this means casting calls. He submitted auditions and won. Out of the 378 auditions he's submitted, he has won 103 of them. And that ranks him 97th out of 595 talents that have stats. You have to submit at least 5 reads in each category. So either 5 auditions, 5 speedies, or 5 bookings in order for our stats page to calculate a ranking for you. Until then, you won't see this. So we only have about 595 talents in this particular demographic that have submitted auditions. I think a lot of people feel that we have, hundreds and thousands of people submitting reads, but it's actually a pretty small pool. And I can tell you that the stats that we're looking at are for English North American male. That's the demographic this person falls into. Speedies. So he has submitted 328 speedies. He's had 92% of them approved by clients. He's in the top 86% of other voice actors in his demographic, which ranks him 30th out of 215 talents that have submitted at least 5 speedy reads. You can see the website is quite competitive, especially in the English North American demographic. Globally, we don't have quite as much competition, but you can see that these stats show you that the website is pretty competitive. Response speed is also very important. The algorithm takes into account who is not only performing the best as far as their reads getting accepted by clients, but who's performing the fastest. So the algorithm prefers fast and good talents. So you can see that this person is ranked 21st out of 583 talents that have stats. So these are really good stats, and this talent makes a lot of money with VoiceBunny. But I will tell you that the vast majority of our projects are posted through the search and book feature. We do see clients coming along and posting speedies and casting calls, but by far our clients prefer to run a search, listen to some samples, and pick a voice directly from those pages. So, or they also like to add talents to their favorites list and keep going back to their favorites and hiring them over and over again. So let's talk a little bit, I think that's my next slide, about how you can get some exposure in search and book. Before, I know that you might have a lot of questions about statistics, about exactly how the algorithm works and those kinds of technical questions. Um, I'll give you as much information as I can. A lot of the technology is patented, so I can't, or I just simply don't know because I'm not a programmer myself. But I'll try to answer those as best as I can. Also, like I said, keep in mind the stats page is still a work in progress. Um, and there's going to be another part of it that will actually give you more details about individual projects and why you didn't or did match. Okay. Let me go back to my little presentation here. Okay, yes. So I did want to talk a little bit about search and book. So I was mentioning that the majority of our projects are actually posted through search and book. And so how can you make sure that your samples are showing up? First, make sure that you're submitting only high quality samples in categories you've mastered. We review every single piece of audio that gets submitted to the website. So make sure that it's recorded in a professional studio. Make sure that the volume is good. That's something that it seems a lot of talents submit audio that's too hot, it's too loud, and then it sounds distorted in our platform. If that happens, it will be rejected by our quality assurance team. If it's in an accent that is non-native, and if you're trying to fake a British accent or an Australian accent and it's not in the characters or cartoons category, it will also be rejected. Our clients are expecting to hear native speakers of whatever language and accent that they've picked, unless it's in the cartoon or character voices category, then you can get away with that. So just make sure that you're submitting high quality samples. Also, upload multiple samples to multiple categories. I'm going to show you what the search page looks like for clients, and you'll see they have tons of filters they can use. They can sort them, of course, by language, age, gender, but they can sort by category. They can sort by price. They can sort by popularity. So there's 100,000 different combinations of things they could be searching for. So the more samples you have in more categories, the better chance you have of matching. That's where your rates come into play. Honestly, we don't see a lot of talent searching by price. Our clients tell us that they're concerned with finding just the right voice for their project, not necessarily the price. They're willing to pay more for great talent and for talent that they can trust. So you have to make sure that you're showcasing your best stuff to them because they have lots of choices when they come to the site. So you want to make sure they're choosing you. So set rates where you're comfortable. If I kind of look at it as when I'm setting my rates for a project, I look at the overall amount of time it's going to take me. So I know, how fast I can jump into the studio and record something, but I also count, how long it's going to take me to edit that, what my schedule looks like over the next coming days. If I'm going to be really busy and it's going to be a real hassle for me to get this done, then I might charge a little bit more to make it a little bit, so that way I have a better excuse for putting off some other things that I've been doing. So set your rates where you're comfortable, but also keep in mind that your rates are shown on that on the search page, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. Something else, don't go inactive. Every 30 days that you don't log into the VoiceBunny website or submit new audio to us, we'll send you an email that says, hey, are you still interested in getting projects from VoiceBunny? And if you don't click that link, we're going to assume that you're inactive. Why did we have to implement this? I know it sounds silly. We have talents that sign up and then we never hear from them again. Our clients will pick out their voice in the search and send them a project, and nothing happens. We don't hear back from the talent. We try to call them, we try to email them, we try everything, and they ignore us. So in order to prevent this from happening, we send you that email check. It's just once a month. Just click the link, let us know you're still interested in getting projects, and that'll keep you from going inactive. Something else is to upload some samples. So get in there, log in, and share your profile page and fix it up. I'll show you what that looks like really quickly. This is my profile page. This is you get to this page from your dashboard. Let me show you what that looks like really quick, just in case you're not familiar with your dashboard. So this is what your voice actor dashboard looks like. This is where you see any available projects. And you just click on your profile and samples here. You can update your name. You can even work anonymously if you don't want to put your name there. You can update a tagline and a bio. I apologize, I don't have all of my stuff filled out. You should definitely fill this stuff out. But here's your samples, okay? And all you have to do to upload a new sample is click on Organize and Manage Your Samples. Read all this stuff. Make sure that you understand what format it has to be in. Make sure it's not too loud, and make sure that you have you don't do a compilation reel. Our clients, actually, every voiceover client. This is not just specific to VoiceBunny. It's most clients that I've worked with. Is they tell us that they listen to about 9 seconds of a demo before they decide if this is going to be the right voice for their project or not. They decide if they want to keep listening or if they want to move on to the next one after about 9 seconds. For that reason, we only play about 20 seconds of your audio file. So if you're submitting, a really long 5-minute compilation demo, we're only going to play the first 20 seconds for the client. So make sure it's a good one. Also, please don't slate your name or any contact information in your samples, otherwise it will be rejected. So you just click on Upload a New Work Sample to do that. Also, you can decide which samples, in what order you want your samples to appear by simply dragging and dropping them. So you get, if these are the samples that I've uploaded before, and you can just drag and drop them to make them appear in a different order on your page. So we'll move that one up. Also, any previous work that you've done for VoiceBunny, so if you've submitted a read for a speedy or a casting or a booking, we'll automatically add those to your samples page for you. So there's no reason to submit stuff that you've done for VoiceBunny. This is stuff that you've done outside of VoiceBunny. Okay, so let me go back to my profile page. Getting bookings directly through your profile page definitely helps your stats. That's really, in the eyes of the VoiceBunny algorithm, the fact that you're booking work is really impressive and does great things for your stats. So you can actually just copy and paste the link on your profile page, and you can share it on Facebook, on Twitter, wherever you you want to look for work. And anybody that books you through your VoiceBunny page will be seen as positive on your stats. Plus, you get paid, that you're going to get paid for sure, because all of our clients have to pay first before submitting a project. So something to think about. Okay, let's go. Oh, you know what? I did want to show you what Search and Book looks like from the client point of view really quickly. If you go to Search and Book, I recommend that you do this actually. Search for yourself, see who your competition is. Listen to those samples that have been favorited a lot by our clients. Listen to those samples and try to figure out what it is that makes clients love that sample so much. You might be surprised at what you hear. I'm just gonna get a drink here. So you can see that clients have a lot of filters to choose from. They can pick specific languages and accents. You can filter by purpose. So we can look at just reads for audiobooks, just phone systems, or movie trailers, those kinds of things. Or they can leave it on any purpose. Also, the age and gender. So we go, or they can leave it in any age and gender as well. So let's look for young adult females in the presentations category. And then we hit apply filters. That's Mr. Bunny there doing a search. And you can see the results that we get. So we can play. So then they can click the Book This Voice Actor Now button. They can ask a question about this voice actor. They can see any reviews, and they see the turnaround time. You initially, when you sign up for VoiceBunny, we ask you about how long it's going to take you to record certain lengths, certain script lengths, and you put that information in. However, and that's what it uses here initially. However, as the system begins to collect data about your actual response time, that will change. So this voice actor usually turns around audio in about 1 business day. So so that's how the search and book works. You can see they can sort them by popularity, by rating, turnaround speed, by price, and choose a voice. So actually, let's see. Let's sort by turnaround speed there. So if I'm in a hurry, I can find a voice actor that turns it around in about 1 business day. That's how search and book works. So do your best to make sure that you're showing up there by having lots of good samples in our system. So let's get into the number one reason that clients are rejecting reads. It's usually not audio quality related. We do have a little bit of that. But most of the time, these are actual comments from actual VoiceBunny clients, from actual rejections. You can see that all of them have said that it sounds robotic, not natural, flat, boring, monotone. You can see these words being used a lot. And this is what I hear too. That the number one thing that clients complain about are voiceovers that sound like an announcer. They don't sound natural or conversational. You can also see comments like this: the tone was too deep or aggressive for this project. The tone was too friendly, too happy for this spot. So whenever you're looking at a project, and I'll pull up a project so you can see it. Make sure that you're reading all of those remarks that the client has put there as to the kind of tone they're after. Make sure you're listening to any example audio. Sometimes they post links to YouTube videos of commercials they like. Make sure you're listening to those. But also read between the lines too. Sometimes clients aren't very good at giving really good descriptive remarks. So really read through that script and really think about the voice the client was hearing in their head as they were writing that script. Or, sometimes they didn't write it, but you know what I mean. They have a voice in mind already. So you've got to figure out what voice they are hearing in their head. And I can tell you that the vast, vast, vast majority of our clients want a natural, conversational, every man, every woman sort of read. Okay. And that's the most difficult kind of read to do. Coming from traditional radio, it took a really, really long time to break myself of the habit. And I still work on it. I still work with voiceover coaches to break myself of the habit of sounding like an announcer, of sounding like I was reading it instead of believing it. That's why we call you voice actors, because even if you're just reading a commercial script or doing a training or a presentation, you're still an actor. You're still getting into character with the product that you're selling. Whether you're selling a product, whether you're training people on how to use a bread maker, you're still getting into character. So keep that in mind every time you get a VoiceBunny script in front of you. Don't be an announcer, be yourself. what happens when I put new people in front of a microphone? Usually, one of two things happens. Usually, they'll turn on their announcer voice and they'll kind of start doing this sort of thing where every word has a lot of emphasis, and they kind of do this sing-songy thing with their voice. And every sentence ends like this, like maybe it's a question. The next thing that's going to happen might be, really exciting. But when everything sounds like this, there's no there's no sort of flow to the script, right? It sounds like a sing-song effect, and that's a real turnoff to clients. Something else that can happen is you turn into a robot. All of a sudden, you start sounding boring and flat and monotone. Um, and that comes with not being familiar enough with the script, honestly. What I've seen in my experience is when you're not familiar with the script and you haven't spent a lot of time really thinking about what the client heard in their head when they wrote it, that's when it can start sounding robotic because you're just reading it. You're just reading words off of a page. You're not feeling anything behind it. And like I said, you may be doing a phone system, right? For for English, press 1. You might be doing one of those kinds of reads. But even in those phone system kind of reads, you can still be yourself and be natural and have some personality there. So most clients um, most clients want personality, not perfection. They're not looking for the next, you know, golden in a world Don LaFontaine voice. Most of our clients aren't expecting that or even wanting that. They want a voice that's going to sell their product to their audience. No matter what it is. Like I said, even if it's an educational video, your voice has to connect with whoever their audience is. So that's what sells real voices with real personality, not perfection. And those are the talents that are doing the best on VoiceBunny. Those talents who get behind the mic and they're still themselves. And they also know themselves really well. So they know the kinds of projects and the kinds of scripts that they can nail. And I do, and it takes a long time to figure that out. In the beginning, you just kind of audition for everything and throw whatever, see what sticks after you throw 100 auditions against the wall. Um, but after a while, you really start to learn the kinds of scripts that are really yours and you can really nail. Um, so find yourself. If you're looking for some practice scripts to use for samples or for demos, think about products that you use and love yourself, right? Whether it's a certain brand that you love or a clothing line that you really love. Do a voiceover, go to a magazine, find their commercials on YouTube or wherever, and voice a commercial for them. Because you, clearly, since you already love their product, one, you're going to be very good at selling it. But two, you're in their target demographic. You're speaking to other people just like you. And especially with commercial reads, that's what sells. If and when people hear a voice that sounds like them and they sound trustworthy, um, that's what they connect with. Overconfidence is a turnoff. We just recently, actually today, I believe, posted a blog post about research that they've done with children that shows that a voice that sounds overconfident is actually less trustworthy than someone with a more natural read. So that overconfidence and that I have the best voice on the planet, yeah, I mean that's gonna help you, maybe audition for more jobs or put yourself out there or market yourself better. But when it comes to actually getting behind the microphone, you've got to kind of drop that super overconfident, best voice ever attitude and really think about what the client's wanting. Um, do you ever get those kinds of requests? Yes, I actually did a voiceover. for an internal video where I had to put on my old school radio announcer voice, but it was a character voice. They wanted the old school dating game, very 1960s sort of voiceover for their video. So, but that's very rare. It was very fun and I loved it, but that's very rare that happens. So, I got a question for someone that says define perfection. I wish I could, but what I mean by that is that they're looking for your personality. They're looking for someone who sounds natural, not someone who sounds like a perfect robot. So for example, when it comes to your editing, you don't want the big breaths in there. You don't want the sound, before every sentence that you read because that gets annoying. But you also don't want to edit it so closely together that it doesn't sound natural. So I'm talking about leaving those natural pauses in there, maybe leaving a very slight breath or two in there. Clients want to hear a natural voice, not what you may think is a perfect voice, like Don LaFontaine or these big booming, very famous announcers. There's a market for that, but it's much smaller than the market for your everyday conversational kind of guy. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our internal QA process. This is where VoiceBunny gets a lot of controversy because we don't send everything to our clients directly. We have to screen it first. Why do we do this? You get paid for every single approved audio you submit. So if you pass our internal quality control process, you're getting paid, regardless of what the client says at the end. So what happens if we approve a read and then a client says, no, this isn't what we were wanting, and they reject it? Well, we give the client their money back. And we also pay the talent. So there are many cases where we actually lose money on some voiceover projects. Yes, we do mark up the rates enough to cover that kind of stuff, but it doesn't work every single time. So we're very strict with our internal QA processes. Rejection is a part of this industry. You're not going to get every job that you audition for, and you're probably not going to pass our internal QA process every single time. Even the best, those guys on the site, guys and girls that are ranked number one on the site, they get rejected too. It's kind of a part of the industry. So you got to have a tough skin and accept that you may not be right for every single project that comes along. It's just how it works. So whenever we're doing our internal process, we do an audio quality check, and I'll get into a lot of details about that in a second. We read all the remarks very thoroughly regarding tone. We listen to any examples the client has given us, and we take them very seriously. We're reviewing these projects all day, every single day. We get to know clients, our regular clients that are posting a lot of projects. We get to know them. We get to know the voices that they like and the type of read that they're generally looking for. And so we have a really good understanding of what audio to send them and what audio we should not send them. So if you get rejected internally, don't take it personally. You just may not have been right for that particular script, and keep on going. So let's talk a little bit about how you can reduce the chances of that happening, right? I already talked about choosing the right project. If you're not confident in the script, like let's say that the client says they want a voice that sounds like Morgan Freeman, and they've posted a YouTube clip of Morgan Freeman, and that's the voice that they're hearing in their head. Chances are, if you don't sound, it's really hard to sound like Morgan Freeman, but if you know in your heart that you don't sound like Morgan Freeman, like maybe the script is a great script, it looks like a really fun project, it pays well, everything's right, but you know that you don't sound like Morgan Freeman, don't submit because it will get rejected. We take those remarks and those examples very seriously. Let me talk a little bit about our audio quality check. Yes, I know this is a huge wall of text, but I wanted to give you the actual copy of the things that we're checking for whenever we're going over the quality. So the first thing we checked is does it belong to the right age and gender? If they've asked for a child voice, we do not send adults pretending to be children unless it's a character or cartoon kind of read. If our clients have selected child, where we actually have child voice actors on the site, and we won't send adults that are trying to sound like children. Also, if they have requested a senior citizen and it's a young person trying to put on their granny voice like this, again, we're going to reject that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind. Is there a slate or any contact info? All VoiceBunny audio files that you submit need to be edited and ready to use. We actually have something that's called an API. You can Google that a little bit later, but basically it's computers talking to computers. And so we have computers that are automatically posting projects, and once we approve the audio, it might be automatically going on the air on a radio station. It might automatically be forwarded to another client of our clients, right? Because a lot of times we have middlemen, we have video producers or radio producers who are posting projects on behalf of their clients. So a lot of times the end client is not the person who's actually posting the project. So we want to make sure that everything is ready to use whenever we send it to the client. We promise clients that they will not have to do any sort of editing on their part. So we assume that all of our clients don't know how to edit audio. So we want to send it to them perfect. Is there too much silence in the beginning? This freaks clients out if there's more than like 2 seconds of silence. They think that the audio player isn't working, the website isn't working, the internet went down. It makes them panic. So we ask that you you only have about half a second of silence in the beginning. Is the volume okay? This is a problem that we're having right now. We ask that you record around -3 decibels, but I think that's actually too loud. So I'm going to ask you guys to turn it down a little bit. Even as low as -10 decibels would be okay. That'll give the client a little bit of room to boost it on their end. Just make sure that it's not too hot. You don't want it to be too quiet, of course, but being too loud is much worse, because when you upload it, it can sound really distorted on our end, and that's going to be rejected. So make sure that you play it back. After you hit the upload button, there's the option to play it back. Make sure that you've submitted the right audio file, first of all, and make sure it's not too loud. Does the audio have distracted breathing? Is there mouth noises, like the saliva sound that sometimes you can get, or like the tongue noises, like that kind of gross stuff? We listen for that. Are there any popping sounds? The pee pop sound is a real problem, of course. Does it have any white noise, hissing, static, that kind of stuff? Does the audio have background noise? The dogs barking, traffic noises, those kinds of things that we talked about a little bit earlier. A lot of times I hear people hit the microphone. I'm guilty of doing that too. I talk with my hands a lot, and sometimes I bump the microphone. We hear that stuff. So make sure that you are editing that out. Are the music or sound effects too loud? This is when we're reviewing samples mostly. A lot of samples we get have crazy effects or really loud music in the background. And our clients are listening for voices, not your audio production skills at this point. And the number one problem we have with audio quality is, does the audio have echo, like the person is recording in a large room or a bathroom? Probably like what you're hearing from my microphone right now. It's clear that I'm not in a soundproofed environment. You can hear the audio reverberating off of the walls and the ceiling, probably my computer as well. So whenever you are setting up your home studio, get some high quality soundproofing material. I'm talking RLX. I'm talking, professional grade soundproofing, because an egg crate mattress topper from Walmart is not going to do the trick. I record in my walk-in closet, and the clothes do provide some sound dampening, but it's not enough. I also have I also have RLX on the walls. Um, and it makes a huge difference, absolute huge difference. Um, so make sure that you're not recording with any echo. Um, some clients don't know what they want. They only know what they don't. So you get a project and the clients, doesn't give very good remarks. But then they start rejecting. No, this isn't the tone I want. No, this isn't really what I want either. So some clients really don't know what they want until they've heard what they don't. And I know it's frustrating. How can you deal with this? Read in between the lines. Like I said, try to imagine what that client wants to hear. You've read a lot of scripts. You've listened to a lot of audio samples. If you haven't, do it. Do your research. Listen to always be listening to other voice actors. Always be listening to those demos on VoiceBunny that are getting the top slot in the search and book. And really get into the mind of the client and the script. And revisions. Revisions are a part of the process. It very rarely happens that a client is super awesome happy with the first read they get. A lot of times they are, which is great. But sometimes they say, could you read this a little bit more like this? Could you slow down in this part? And that's cool. And that happens. So a lot of times what I do, I go into my studio, I look at the script, and I read it through a lot. I don't do cold readings. That's what I taught, because that's how you end up sounding like a robot, when you're just reading the words off of the page and you're not feeling those words. But I read it through a lot. I read it through the way the first time I read it through, when I'm ready to actually get behind the microphone and do a reading, I read it, all those remarks that the client sent. So if they said they want someone who sounds like I don't know, Julia Roberts in this insurance commercial, right? They want a relaxed tone. They want a hint of a Southern accent. All these kinds of things. I try to do it just right according to their marks and their tone. Then I'll read it through again and read it through the way I like it, the way I think it should be read, right? And so I'll read it through that way. And then a lot of times I'll do a third one where I try to do something completely out of the box with it. I either try to read it really, really upbeat and happy, or I try, I really try to do something kind of crazy and weird with it. And then I'll listen to them back and try to figure out which one I liked the best and what I liked about it, and which one I think the client's going to like best. And then in the end, I kind of marry all three of those together, right? So I take that style that I assume the client wants based on their remarks. I take my natural instinct and my natural personality and that, a little bit of that. And then I take a little bit of kind of out of the box kind of craziness in with it too. And I kind of smash all three of those things together. And usually that works for me. So a lot of times clients aren't even sure what they want. So you kind of have to give them that little nudge and really convince them that it's you that they want, that you were that voice that they heard when they wrote that script. They may not have realized it, but you are. Those revision requests are kind of the same thing. You kind of have to read in between the lines and figure out what they're really asking you to do. And try not to get frustrated. It happens. I've had to deal with really incredibly picky clients that it seemed like no matter what I did, I just wasn't able to please them. So when you start feeling yourself getting frustrated with a client, frustrated with a script, you got to take a step back and breathe a little bit, and come in with a fresh slate. Come in with a fresh mind. Every time you walk into your studio, you've got to drop everything that you're dealing with. So, the kids and the stress of work. I know most of you probably aren't doing voiceover work full time. I hope that a lot of you are, and I hope a lot of you get to do that. But you've worked all day. Maybe the kids are bringing home bad grades, and you got to get dinner ready, and there's all these things going on. And then this picky client wants yet another revision. You've got to drop all of that because it does come across in your voiceover. If you're feeling frustrated with the script and the client and the frustrations of the day, you've got to make your studio a sanctuary. You've got to train your family to know that once that door closes, you're in another world, in a world. You're in another dimension. And that everything stops when you're in that studio. And the only thing that matters is delivering an amazing performance to your client, no matter how picky they've been, no matter how many times you've read the same thing, you've got to give it your best every time. And that's what's going to keep clients coming back. That being said, there's a lot of clients that I've had to fire. I've had some clients that have been like, you know what, it was really nice working with you, but let me recommend some other folks to you. So it's okay to fire clients, but while you're working with them, while you've agreed to do the project, you're stuck with them, and you got to give them your best every time. Our resource center, a lot of new talents don't realize that we have a lot of our most frequently asked questions and a lot of great resources available for you in our resource center. So it's just go to support.voicebunny.com. I know this is a really long link. You don't have to memorize that. If you just go to support.voicebunny.com and click on the voice actor icon, it's going to take you to our FAQ page. So any announcements, here's the announcement about the new talent stats page. We'll go on the announcements. And here's all of our getting started stuff. Here's a webinar that I did earlier in the year that teaches you, I guess late last year, that teaches you how to get started with the platform and covers more technical things with the website. If you're brand new to voiceover, you're not even sure where to even start in this whole crazy world of voice acting, click there. I've got some great tips on getting started. All kinds of stuff here. How does your account work? How do you get paid? How do I set my rates? How do the stats work? All of these kinds of questions are answered here in our resource center. So you can just run a little search and see if your question is answered. So make sure that you've bookmarked this page. Let's see here. I'm scrolling through my stuff too fast here. Oh, I want to introduce you to some of our operations team. Miguel Miranda is our lead talent advocate. So whenever you do submit questions to talent support, this is the guy that's going to get to them first. He's been with VoiceBunny for over a year now, and he's super helpful, super happy to help you. But he's also a very busy guy. So like I said, a lot of our frequently asked questions are in that resource center. So I recommend making that your first stop, making sure we haven't already answered your question before submitting a support ticket to Miguel or myself. Some of the project managers you may deal with. So you've been booked by a VoiceBunny client, and if you have questions about the project, something is confusing, something isn't going right, if you have any questions, you can email our project management team, and you can see Luisa, Catalina, Melanie, and Claudia there, and they're always happy, helpful, and their main goal is to get projects completed for our clients. So they're going to help you out very quickly. So if you are, like I said, ever confused about a VoiceBunny project that you've been booked for, those are going to be your gals to go to. If you're confused about how the platform is working or how you can get more work, that kind of stuff is usually answered in our resource center. So make sure that you're checking it out. Okay, let's get to some of your questions. I have a lot of them here. You can use the chat, the chat window to ask questions. Let me go through here. Let's see. Okay, so I expected this question about why are the rates so low? Okay, so how does VoiceBunny determine the pricing? Okay, well, it's actually based on you guys. If you want to see the kind of prices that we're showing clients, you can actually. This is just, I'm logged into my VoiceBunny account, but you can get to it from the homepage as well. Click on this little drop down menu here and go to our pricing page, right? So you can enter in a script of, let's say, 180 words, which is about how many words I can read in about a minute. Maybe a little bit different for you. That's going to start around $92 if they want to do a speedy or through our search and book page. And if they want to run a casting, you can see if they want to get 3 auditions, it's going to be $135, or they can get 10 auditions for about $236. Reward amounts are calculated individually for each talent based on the rates they set, based on statistics, based on a lot of things. So you always see the reward amount before you accept a project. When a client comes to book you through search and book, you get paid whatever rate you set. We just add our markup on top. Where does that money go? I think I have a little graph to show you. We have, I think I do. We have a lot of costs to cover, right? We have a big staff. Here we go. We also have a huge marketing budget to try to find these clients. We do a lot of research and development. We have a huge engineering team that keeps the website up and running. We do a lot of refunds. If clients aren't happy with the results of their project, they can get a full refund. And we don't ask a lot of questions about that. If they didn't like it, they didn't like it. Somewhere along the line, we failed, and they deserve to get their money back. So we make money, of course. Got to pay the bills. We are we're not a charity. We're not a not-for-profit. We do make a little bit of a profit, but everything that we make, we actually reinvest into making the product better, into engineering, marketing, that kind of stuff, customer service, all of that. So that's where the rates go. So always set your rates where you're comfortable. I mean, that's how we determine our pricing is the rates that voice actors say that they want to work for. Let's see. So someone mentioned whenever they were signing up, it appeared that other talents chose to remain anonymous on their profile. That may be the case, but actually, I think a lot of talents don't realize they have that profile page. I think a lot of our talents don't take the time to upload, a headshot if you want. It's not required. I know a lot of you probably don't look like what your voice sounds like, so I understand if you choose not to include a headshot there. But I don't think a lot of talents realize that they have that profile page. So go fill it out, fill out your bio, fill out your tagline, arrange those samples in an order that you're comfortable with. Delete ones that you don't like. Like I said, we automatically take reads from your VoiceBunny projects and upload them for you. So if there's one you didn't particularly like, you can delete them as well. Somebody asked, can advertisers see our rankings? Yes, they can. Well, those stats pages, you have to have the link. So no, they're not going to be able to easily get to your stats page, but they will see any reviews that you've gotten, and they will be able to see your popularity. So they'll see how many times you've been booked before, but they don't see rankings, no. I have a lot of questions and it's already 11 o'clock. My goodness. So I will feel free. I mean, I understand. I respect your time. And if you've got to go ahead and go. I'm going to stick around and answer a few more questions for you. Why do projects expire so quickly? I had 2 project invitations and I answered on the same day, but they expired. Deadlines are actually set by the client themselves. We try to encourage them to give talents as much time as possible. but you can see whenever they go to submit a project here that we ask them what their expected deadline is. So this is the project form. If you've never taken a look at it, I recommend that you do so, so you can see all the questions that we ask a client whenever they're submitting a project. So in addition to, of course, the language and the age and all of that stuff, we also ask that they give us pronunciations, tell us the objective of this script, who the audience is, those kinds of things. They can even record messages for you. These are really important, so make sure you're listening to any of those messages that are recorded. But down here, you can see that they can select a deadline. Now, since I'm an admin, I have the option of 2 hours, but most clients don't get that option. Usually, they only see 4 hours. And it also depends on the time of day as well. If our project management team is not working, then it will only give them the 24-hour deadline, just to make sure that our project management team will be able to assist in case something doesn't work as it should. So that's how deadlines are set. If you get a booking, if a client decides to book you through our search and book, go ahead and click that accept button. You're gonna have at least 48 hours. Most of the time it's 72 to complete that project. But by clicking that accept button, you let us know that yes, you're acknowledging that you got the booking. Yes, you're acknowledging that you're going to work on the project, and then you can work on it later. So that way those projects don't expire. Let me see here. So, and I know it's fast. We put a lot of pressure on talents to be fast, but to also be good and to also edit. We understand we're asking a lot. But that's become the nature of the voiceover industry. Even, the clients that I worked with offline, or, that I worked with them online, but that I found through my own marketing, several years ago, they expect me to turn stuff around within hours. It's just the way the industry has changed. I mean, back in the days, they used to hire, production studios, and it would take weeks and weeks to get a final voiceover for even just a 30-second commercial. But things move a lot faster, and you've got to be able to keep up. I know, like I said, I know it's grueling sometimes. Let's see here. So I have another question about deadlines. Okay. Concerning deadlines, the main problem comes with castings contest 1 and having on average only 5 hours to finish. We did have some bugs a while back with the deadline, where for some reason it was just calculating 5 hours for everything, but that's been fixed now. But I understand that sometimes it comes in overnight, or the client may be located on the other side of the world, and it happens. Usually what you can do, if you wake up and for some reason a project that you got booked for expired, you can email our support team, and one of our project managers will help you. But if you've been booked, you're always able to submit. Even though it may be past the deadline, you should be able to re-accept that project. It won't work for speedy projects, of course. Speedy projects are the first person to accept it gets to submit the read, and those work very fast. But with a booking or a casting that you've won, you should always be able to resubmit. If something is still wrong with that process, be sure to email our support team, because I know that we've had some bugs in dealing with deadlines lately, but they've assured me that it's fixed. If it's not, please let me know. Someone asked, how can we do more auditions through VoiceBunny? Like I said, the algorithm is very complicated. It works systematically, trying to invite the best people, who it considers the best people, to audition first before opening it up for others. And as you can see, we don't allow for a whole lot of auditions. Most of our clients are only getting 3 to 5 auditions per project. So they fill up quickly. And that's just the nature of it, especially in the English North American demographics. We have a lot of talents who are in that category, and it's quite competitive. Not so competitive around the rest of the world yet. Okay, so it's 11:06. I'm going to try my best to follow up and answer as many questions as I can in the follow-up email. I did record this whole thing, so give me a day or two to put it all together, write my email kind of covering some of the questions I didn't get to, and send it all to you in a nice, neat little package. So you'll get a copy of it, and you'll be able to share it with anyone who maybe couldn't join today. Okay, so anyway, thank you so much for attending. I hope that it's been really helpful. Again, if you have technical questions about getting started on the VoiceBunny platform, how the websites work, how to set rates, those kinds of things, be sure to check out our resource center. It's super easy to find. It's support@voicebunny.com. And when you get there, oops, I have to be able to type. When you get there, just click on the info for voice actors page. Okay, so thank you very much for joining today. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for all of your questions, and I hope to hear you soon. So have a great day.